Hello again. I'm here in Delcar in my Python. Last video, we were doing the Sothis CEOS circuit, and along with for the data and the long range hauling, and making about 40-50 million each round trip, which is, I don't know, 2 to 3 hours. So now I'm up to 229 million, and I've got quite a bit of stuff with Python, and some of it's stored. So everything's how I want it now. I've got everything I need to make it a really good ship. I've been going through the engineers. I made a video about how to start with, I think it was Elvira, getting the frameshift drive done. While we were doing the data runs, we were picking up a lot of very useful materials, and some of those are really handy for the engineers. Saves you having to go out and get a lot of the special stuff. So I've managed to rank up a few engineers already. So there's Elvira. I got her up mainly by donating or just spamming her level 1 upgrades with fragments that I've got in the SRV. Todd the Blaster, he's the bounty guy. Well, we did a bit of bounty hunting in the very beginning, so we got our invites straight away, and then all we had to do is get 100,000 credits, which was just a question of going to his the nav beacon in his place and shooting a few bad guys there, and when we got to 100,000, went and see him, and that got him going. Marco Quentz, right, yeah, when we were doing the the SEAL stuff, also we were ranking up with Sirius. So all you then have to do is go to there's a couple of systems near Sirius, run a couple of missions, and they give you the permit, and then a little bit of running around within Sirius to try and get the actual invite to Marco. But after a bit of messing about, I got that. So then he was ranked up. No, it was Felicity that I started with. She was the one for, we'd done, if you travel more than we'd got ranked Scout for exploration. That was by travelling, by scanning astronomical data while we were running backwards and forwards to Sothis. And we had to run an errand to get some metal alloys from somewhere or other. But now I'm on to Selene Jean, and she's the mining queen, and to start working with her we need 500 tons of ore, so we got to go mining. There's no other way round that. But I can tell you one thing as well, that once you've done the mining, you go and see her after you get the invite, and she's right, before I start working with you, I want 10 tons of Painite. So obviously it makes sense to go mining when you're trying to get your 500 tons somewhere where there's Painite, which is why I'm here in Delcar, because there's Painite in one of the planets. So there isn't much Painite, but by the time we've got our 500 tons, we should have the 10 tons of Painite as well. So we can keep that in our hold when we get any at all, and then when we got our 500 tons. Now I've already been doing it, had a couple of runs to practice, and I'm up to 300 tons now, and I've actually got my 10 tons of Painite. In fact, on the last run, I went up to 14, so I sold the 4, and you get about $250,000 for that. So yeah, quite good mining for in this area. Right, I'll first of all show you the outfitting, what we need. Here it is. So we need, first of all, a couple of mining lasers, which means I've got to park up into storage the beam lasers I had, which were engineered. So here we go, hard points. So here we go, two 2D mining lasers. You don't need the big powerful ones. You can break up the rock so quickly with these two, but you don't need anything more than that with a Python. So what happens, you blast the rocks and it makes loads of fragments, and then you've got to collect them. So it's a bit like when you're in the SRV. So to collect them, we need collector limpets. So you need a collector limpet controller. Now I did try a 4A one, was it, or was it 3A? I can't remember, with 2 limpets, and it was just too slow. You need about 4 limpets, and a 5A one can control 3 limpets. Where are they gone? Oh, we haven't got any here. I outfitted the ship at LTT 15574 when I was over there, where we started off doing, that's nearby to where we did our bounty hunting. That's a good system that's got loads of stuff. So they haven't got everything here. So I can't show you that. But the 5A can control 3 limpets, and even that was a bit slow. So I've got one extra one in this here, 1A one, that does 1 limpet. And what I've done, I've put both of those on the same fire button, so that I get 4 limpets collecting all the time, which, you know, more would be better, but it's enough, I think. So what you're doing is balancing cargo capacity, because you want to go out and bring back, 100 tons or something like that, and the other module space for collector limpets. You need a refinery. I don't think we've got refineries here, have we? Yes, we have got refineries here. So what the refinery does, the 4A is the best you can get. It's well, I'll show it to you when we're out there mining. What that does is convert the ore into metal that you can sell. So you have to have one of those, so you stick that in a 4 slot. And one other useful thing, though not entirely necessary at this stage, because what it does, the prospector limpet, what that does, you fire a limpet at a rock and it tells you what's in it. So really we're not in the mining for the money, and we're not really after anything specific. So all we need to do is go out there. We just want 500 tons. It doesn't matter if it's crap. We just want it as quick as possible. So you could just go out there without the prospector limpet. We could in fact put a collector limpet in there as well. Because we just want to collect up everything. And along the way, probably randomly, we'll pick up some painite. If we don't get painite, what you'd have to do then is come back, get the prospector limpet, and then go prospecting for painite. So what you do, you fire this thing at a rock, and it tells you exactly what's in it. So you can see which ones have got painite in and which ones haven't. Not many have got painite in, so it's a bit random. Right, so that's basically the equipment you need: collector limpets, prospector limpets, a refinery, and mining lasers, and as much carrying capacity as you can. I don't really need a 6A generator, but I've got this one all engineered now. I don't really want to put it into storage. You never know when it's going to come in handy anyway. So that's it. One last thing. Before you leave the station, you've kitted your ship, you need the actual limpets yourself. It's so easy to forget them. And I'll show you where you get them from. It's pretty well hidden. You restock. This place hasn't got restocking at the moment. It must be in lockdown or something. But restocking doesn't stock your limpets. What you have to do is go to advanced maintenance and restock there. And then here you see limpet control. That's how much capacity, cargo capacity you've got. That's how many limpets you've got. So you just click here to add one. It's 101, 102, 103, 104. Now you want about 80% of your cargo capacity, because each time you fire a prospector limpet, it disappears after you've finished with it. So every rock you want to prospect, you need a limpet for. And also the collector limpets expire after some time, and they also have a nasty habit of flying into rocks and blowing themselves up. So you want to take out a fair few limpets. They don't cost very much, so even in the even if you had 100%, what you can do is just keep firing prospector limpets to make room for the cargo as you refine the rocks into metal. What happens is your cargo hold starts to fill up slowly, and you want it to fill up as the limpets go down. So at the end of the visit, you want to end up with 126 cargo and no limpets. That's the aim. So you need to balance that a little bit when you're out there. Well, you'll see that when we get out there. So that's it really. I've shown you how to outfit your ship. You can do it in any ship. I'll cancel that. You can do it in any ship, but really you want one with a bit of cargo carrying capacity. So Python's pretty good. You could use an ASP as well, but you haven't got much module space for the collector and prospector limpets and everything. I mean, some people mine in a sidewinder, but you're not going to make a lot of money like that. So doing this mining, I'm making, I don't know, about $1.5 million an hour, which isn't very much, but I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for the 500 tons, so that I can unlock Selene Jean and also get her the 10 tons of Painite, which I've got now. So that's it for mining. What I'll do now, I'll go out there and show you how it all works. So I'll see you out there at the planet. Right, here we are at Delcar 7. We want to mine in those inner rings, the grey ones. That's the A rings, where there's Painite, platinum, osmium, gold, all the valuable stuff. One of the other engineers also, they want osmium, so you might want to come back here later after you've dealt with Selene Jean. So you can mine anywhere in the rings. It doesn't have to be in an extraction site. Just find somewhere. I'll just fly in, slow down when you get there, so you don't crash into it. Well, you do crash into it, but there we go. Bang. Right, the first thing you've got to do is move. So I'm just going to point towards the planet, so I know where I am, and keep boosting in this direction. So you need 4 pips to your engines. And the reason is that some pirates are going to drop in. They know where you dropped in. I don't know who tells them every time, but within about a minute, if you're dropping in, they turn up. And I've got some Painite in my hold from a last visit, so they'll be after that. So all you do is just keep boosting. Here they are, away from where you landed. Obviously the more speed you got, the better. So I've got 4 pips to engines, and I'll just run them off the screen. Occasionally you see feds here as well, dropping after them. So some people say if you've got no cargo, you've got nothing to worry about. Just let them come and scan you, then they go away, and then you've got the place to yourself again. But I always just boost away anyway. So we've lost them now, by the looks of it. But just in case they've got better sensors than me, maybe they can still see me, so I'll just go a little bit further yet. So that's probably enough. So right, where should we start? There's some nice big rocks. Size doesn't matter. I often find a painite in the small ones, but it's just random. You can find it anywhere. Right, so we approached the rock. Get our weapons out. So, because I got 4 fire groups at the moment, so I've got my prospector limpet on this one. So I just pull the trigger and fire it like a missile. There it goes. So once it's going, target it and wait for it to land on the rock. And then we can see what's in there. So we've got gallite, bertrandite, indite. None of them are worth very much. You know, really, I'm just after anything because I just need the 500 tons for Selene Jean. I've got my my painite there and a 10 that she wants. So any more that I get is a bonus. So each visit I've made, I have got about like 6 or 8 tons of the stuff. But as I'm not interested in that stuff, I might just have a look and see if I can find anything a little bit more valuable on this one. So just fire it with a trigger. And see what's on this one. Palladium. Yeah, we'll have some of that, I think. So, now what I do... Hello, what's that behind me? Oh, that's the other limpets, right. Change over to my mining lasers. And on my secondary fire button, I've got the collector limpets. I might as well get them out now. So when I fire that off, out come all the collector limpets. So now I just get close enough until I'm in range. You see the things turn yellow where it says mining laser. And then start blasting it. Now you want to get to 0 speed with your throttle. So I need some pips on my weapons to fire these. Let's do it like that. And the collector limpets just go, oops, cargo hatch, have to open.
Cargo scoop deployed.
They just go and get the stuff and bring it into your cargo hatch and stick it in the refinery. We'll have a look at the refinery in a minute. You know, it's up to you, but the fragments do have a lifetime. So, you know, it's probably best not to do the whole rock all at once. But, you know, it does, if you do, it gives, and you're collecting quite quickly, then you probably collect them all before they expire. But if you're collecting slowly for whatever reasons, then it's probably better to, you know, do some at a time. Now, if you look on the bottom left where it says Limpet Prospector, where you get the information about the rock, it tells you how much left in it. So we've got 52% at the moment still left in the rock. So just out of range there. Right, let's have a look at the refinery. So you've got all the slots in there, depending which one it is. And what you've got to be careful of is, as you go from rock to rock, they've got different elements in. So I'm moving, getting close to that rock. No. It's misleading because the rocks aren't symmetrical and they sort of come and go towards you as they spin. Yeah, so you've got all these slots. If you collect too many different elements, then all the slots end up full. And if you then get a new one, there's no slot to put it in. So from time to time, you have to empty out ones that you're not using. Otherwise, the collectors all just stop outside. Like there's some stopped out there for some reason at the moment. If you look behind me, there's a couple just sitting there flashing. So they're probably waiting for their slot to be ready or something. But the other two are going. Right, let's get some more. Yeah, the limpets are going to run and get the fragments and bring them into your hold. So ideally, you want to position your ship to the shortest distance. You know, like turn it so that they're underneath you a bit, if you can. Yeah, there's still a couple of waiting there. I'll have to have a look.
Asteroid depleted.
Right, so you get the message that the asteroid's depleted. So now we just wait until all the fragments are collected. So what's blocking us? Got plenty of empty slots there. Cargo. No, got plenty of space there. They're waiting for something. It's a bit weird. I've not seen that before, where two are collecting and two aren't. Oh, all of a sudden they've come to life. So we got some palladium. There's platinum here as well. Yeah, one other thing I forgot to mention earlier was that when we were doing the Sea or Southis runs, I did a few of those, made some money, and I came back to sort out the engineers. Then one of the engineers needs modular terminals, which you could also get down at Southis and Sea. You probably spotted them when you were doing that yourself. So I did another couple of runs, and that was enough to get however many modular terminals that was that I needed. I think it was 25. So I got about 16 the first time, and then probably the same the next time, but only needed 9. Yeah, so that got me two visits. That was nearly another 100 million. So I've got plenty of money now. So, and also from all those missions, you do pick up a lot of very useful engineering stuff. So there's always something specific that you don't get from those. So you have to do some other activities like this mining, because you can only mine Painite. It's not given out as mission rewards. So that Sea or Southis circuit is very, very useful. It gets you money, gets you a decent ship, it gets you serious reputation for one engineer, it gets you ranked up in exploring, which is useful for another engineer. It gets you all sorts of things, so it's a well worthwhile activity. Right, so looks like we've got all those fragments. So now, important thing, yeah, a couple of things I've got to mention. You don't want to go over the same blocks all the time, so it's best to fly in one direction. That's why I'm pointing at the planet. So after I finish each rock, I go to the next one in the direction of the planet, and that way I won't find myself going back. Right, I just had a brief interlude there. Well, I had to answer my phone. Sorry about that. Right, I forget where I was now. Yeah, positioning of the ship. So once you've gone 0 throttle, what happens is all the fragments now will be in front of that rock, and the limpets have got a direct route to go and get them. They don't, if a fragment is the other side of the rock, they try and take a straight line. So they just fly straight into the rock and explode. And what you'll see is one after the other of the collector limpets, you know, a new one will come out and get programmed, and then straight away fly into the rock, and it'll say collector failed, or whatever it says, expired or something. So what you mustn't do is let the fragments get between you and the ship. So it's quite important that you stay still once you start. So you know, you need to hold on to 0 throttle if you can. So don't be in too much of a hurry to move on to the next rock. So what I'm just doing is just tilt up my ship a little bit. I'm not going forward. That just positions them underneath me, which gives the collectors a slightly shorter route into the cargo hold. So this is it essentially. You know, get a good film on, read a book while you're doing it or whatever. So it looks like a couple of those limpets have stopped again for some reason. So let's have a look at the refinery. Now it looks like every slot is full, so it could mean they've got something new. So let's get rid of something that's not worth much. Galite. You just press the trigger button, and once you're on the right little triangle there, and they disappear. So it's back again. So it could have been Galites. Must be Bertrandite's another one that's not worth much. Right, so I think that's all those fragments. So there's the other prospector. Was there something on there? No, that's an old one. Right, so on to the next rock. Where's the planet gone? Over here somewhere. There it is. So back to my prospector limpet.
Collector limpet expired. Programming limpet drove.
So I just follow the prospector in, saves a bit of time. I mean, you don't really need to use them. So Galites, not worth much. I got a bit of time, so I'll just see what's around. Yeah, the last few, I've done 3 trips so far, and I got about 1.5 million from each one, so it's not very much, and they do take rather a long time. Bertrandite, silver, same stuff. Did I do that one?
Programming limpet drove.
And another thing you've got to watch out for is cargo capacity. It's got some osmium, palladium now. We'll have a go at this one. Let's just get it going and I'll show you the other thing.
Programming limpet drove.
See, it's a 0 throttle. Yeah, I've got a 0 throttle button, but I'm using hot-ass, joystick things. So if you don't have the joystick on the 0 throttle, the 0 throttle button works for a bit, and then mysteriously it hands back over to the joystick, and the ship starts flying again. So, I don't know whether everybody else's does that, whether it's my crappy joystick. So I always set it to 0 throttle on the joystick now, and that stops that.
Asteroid depleted.
So I was going to look at the refinery for something, wasn't I? I don't know what it was now. Oh, cargo. That was it. Now if you look, I've got 136 cargo capacity, and I started with 100 limpets plus 10 Painite, which I want to keep. So as I fill up with these other things, my limpet's going down. And if you do it too efficiently, then the limpets, and don't use so many limpets, then obviously you end up with limpets in your cargo holds, and you can't put any more stuff in there. So that's one reason to have prospector limpets, because you can just fire them out the way, and each time you fire one, they're only one-shot limpets, so that's one less limpet. So as you fire each one of those, it gives you room for stuff to go in your holes. So they're useful from that point of view. So if your cargo hold does fill, you get a message normally, but you can check it like this. Then you want to fire off a few prospector limpets. No good dumping the collector limpets, because the ones that's active go and collect them and bring them back again. You can't even run away from them, they're so efficient at doing it. So it's a lot of messing about to do that. I'm not too sure what happens if you abandon them. I think before I tried that and they still got collected, but The last time I tried it, I did seem to get away with it. So that might be one when you can jettison or jettison abandon. I'm not too sure, but I think if you abandon them, then the collectors won't go and collect them and bring them back again. Right, so next rock, which way are we going? This way.
Programming limpet drone. Prospector limpet engaged.
Gold, samarium, bertrandite, low content. No, it doesn't make any difference really for what I need. I just need to collect stuff, but
Programming limpet drone.
something in me says I want to collect interesting or expensive things. Stupid really, because it's just wasting time.
Prospector limpet engaged.
Yeah, just samarium in that. Well, let's do this one. So that's it. So it's just a question of as you go right down, and your cargo holds full. So when your cargo holds full right up, and your limpets have gone right down, then you can sort of adjust the optimum by firing prospector limpets. So that you end up with no limpets left and a full cargo hold. And then back to base, sell them. And when you've done 500 and got some painite, seems about, I don't know, 1 in 30 rocks maybe has got painite in it. It's a bit of hit and miss, but while you're doing the 500 tons, you'll almost certainly find enough painite. Yeah, the comes up with this message that the refinery is full, but I don't know what that means. Everything seems to carry on as normal, and other times you don't get the message, and when you look it is full. So just ignore that one where it says refinery is full. Just watch the limpets. You can see them flying. There's 4 of them at the moment, going backwards and forwards. You can see whether they stopped. If they stop, there's always a reason for it, but it's not always obvious what the reason is, unfortunately. So that's it. I'll just tilt up a little bit to give shorter access to the cargo hold. So this cheap stuff that I don't really want, it seems to go a bit quicker. So you get an idea of how much you've got by subtracting the number of limpets. So I've got 81 limpets. Add the 10 painite, that's 91. And I've got 29. So that's 38 tons so far. And if I go and have a look at my engineers, where is she? Selene. 455, so I need 45, so I'm nearly there now. I don't know whether... I had 300 for... No, I'm not too sure whether that includes what I've already collected. Whether this counts as when you refine it or whether you sell it. So I'll fill up anyway, just to be sure. You might want to check that when you're doing it, see which of the two it is, whether it's how much you've refined. So it's 455, let's just go back and then see if it changes. So it's 455. So I'm on my way to the planet. There it is. You can see how easy it is to get lost. It's also difficult to figure out which rocks are nearest all the time.
Programming limpet drone.
Yeah, whenever you fire prospector limpet, you get a message
Limpet expired.
that one's failed. All that means is because the
Prospector
controller,
limpet engaged.
there's some palladium there, the controller can only handle 2 at a time, so the moment you fire another one, like if I do one now,
Programming limpet drone.
it'll say one's failed, and it'll be the one on the rock behind me. There you go, prospector failed. So what am I doing?
Limpet engaged. Programming limpet drone.
Stop mining again.
Programming limpet drone.
So,
Programming limpet drone. Collector limpet expired.
0
Collector
throttle.
limpet expired. Programming limpet drone. Programming limpet drone. Collector limpet expired. Programming limpet
Now
drone.
they're expiring probably because I'm too close, and they're banging into the rock. What I'm going to do is just, because I've been on that side, just going to move my ship in a minute a little bit to make it easier for them.
Asteroid depleted.
Right, let's just move sideways a little bit. That's it. And then right, so we're going to check out Selene, see whether that's changed. No, still 455. So it looks like how many I've sold. So yeah, so I just need 55 now. Anyway, I'll go on for a bit. Right, so that's it for mining. Pretty straightforward. Well, no, it's not really. There's quite a few things to it. But once you get the hang of collector limpets and prospector limpets, it's fairly straightforward. And you know, the first time I did it, I didn't figure out why they kept blowing up all the time. And as fast as I was, you know, letting the collectors out, they were just destroying themselves. And my 100 went in about 5 minutes. And then I had to go back with nothing. And it's because I'd moved around the other side of the rock. But nobody tells you that. So I've told you now. So you've got no excuse. Right, well, I hope you found that useful, and maybe catch you in another video.